Okay. So let's say you have to write to a CSV file. तो उसके भी कुछ simple approach होते हैं. Let us see what is the approach. So when we are talking about so we'll see some steps. What are those steps? First, open a file as normal text file in write mode. ठीक है? Then convert it to CSV writer type file. उसमें रीडर टाइप करते थे. There we while reading we used to open in read mode, then we used to convert it into CSV reader type file. और यहाँ पे राइटर टाइप करेंगे. And third, use write row method to write single line or one record and write rows uh, to write more than one line or record or row. ठीक है? These are the 3 steps using which you can do it. Let us see. Let's say first this program is writing to a CSV file. Writing a opening a CSV file in write mode, opening a normal file, a text file in write mode, and let's call it F. If the file in write mode, if the file is not already existing, the file will be created, and if it is already existing, the file will be overwritten. That means erased and then will be written afresh. Let's say I'll give the name as test CSV. Just a minute. Test.csv. And let's open it in write mode. Because the file is not already existing, it will be created. A file once opened must be closed as well. Now, when the file has been opened, you have to do what? Convert the above file into CSV writer type. Okay. So what you will do is, and you will store the converted version in a variable. कुछ भी रख सकते हो, but I have taken it as CSV writer. Okay. And then you will write. Acha, one more thing. That's the most important thing of all. You have to import CSV module first. Okay. CSV dot writer, and in that you will provide what you call as F. Okay. Now to single record line or row must be in the form of a tuple to must be in the form of a tuple before we add them, before we add it in the CSV file. You remember when you read it, it was in the form of a tuple. So while writing also, it should be in the form of tuple. Sorry, list, not in the form of tuple. Tuple लिख दिया. Should be in the form of a list. Okay, so let's say the record I want to add is, or row I want to add is ID, comma, name, comma, class, comma, age, comma, okay. Then you will write using CSV dot, or you can say write row method to write to the CSV file. Now above line I will add to CSV file. वो कैसे करेंगे? We'll simply write CSV writer. Okay, this writable version, a converted version, we have named it as CSV writer. So we will say that in the CSV writer CSV file, we'll write a single row, write row, and that single row will be the row which I have mentioned in this row variable. Okay, इसको कुछ भी ले सकते थे just for the sake of compliance, or because it suggests what type of value is this. I have taken row. You can take R, you can take X, Y, but a suitable name should be taken. तो मैंने row लिया. You can directly provide this row inside also without taking, ये direct लेके यहाँ डाल सकते हो. ठीक है? So just for the sake of presentation, I'm doing that. Right. Now let us see if that works. No error. Let us see if the file is created or not. Test.csv बनाया था हमने. We had created test.csv. Let us check it out. You can see The values put inside the list as separate elements, string elements, have been put as one single record with one what? Comma, separated by comma.
Comma, sir.
Good. ये देखो, ये बताओ कि how you can write a single line, is it clear or not in this program?
Clear, sir. Sir,
not much, yes.
Sir, while opening a text file in a function, in the definition of a function, and then when we call the function, and if we forget to close the file in the definition, then how to close it later, sir? Does it automatically close, or
No,
how do we
no,
close it, sir? Isn't closed?
No, you can. It won't get closed automatically. That's not a good practice either inside a function or in the main body. See, if you are opening a file in a function, you cannot close in the this main program. That is the global scope. Okay, because
Yes,
that reference is not available in the global scope. Okay, so if you have opened in a file in a function, you should close in a function. Though I'll tell you another way, which helps you get rid of that thing of headache of closing the function. वो आज ही बताऊंगा मैं. ठीक है, I'll tell you today. Okay, that's a rather preferable approach, but I have not told you so far because you should know everything. है ना, तो वो मैं बताऊंगा. I'll tell you कि where you will not need to close the function, close the file explicitly. Okay, right. So is it clear?
Yes, so we can't close it, no, sir?
No, you cannot close it.
Yeah,
you cannot
okay,
close it if you forget to write this in the function where you have opened the file.
Inside the definition.
Inside the definition. Okay, but like I said, I'll tell you a way wherein even if you open the file, you don't need to close it. The program will close it for you automatically. I'll tell you that way also today itself. Okay. Take it. Is it fine? Now, let's say I want to write another line. Another row. The file. ID is, let's say, 101. See, even if you write in the form of a string, okay, sorry, in the form of integer, it will be written in the file. But when you will be reading it back, it will be in the form of string only. So you can write it in the form of an integer, but while reading, everything will be converted in the form of a string. ठीक है, तो जैसे ID को तुम 101 यहाँ दे सकते हो, it will be written to the file, but when you read it back, this will appear as a string only. Okay, name, let's say Rohit, class 12, age मान लो 17. Just I'm giving some random values. City Pune, and then writing second row to the file. So again, you will use this to the CSV file. Okay, done. Now let's check it out. Because it is in write mode, the previous entry would have got erased once again, and once again, first row would have been written and then second row. Okay. You will see. But do you observe one thing here? Anything that you observe?
Second line is blank, sir.
Blank. Okay, that means now if you check with a third row, something मैं मान लो कि third row में भी कुछ लिखता हूँ. So मान लो इसी तरह का कुछ. Again I do it. 16. Okay. So now, if you see here, so you observe that when you write a row, okay, when you write a row, you see that there is a line automatically left or blank after writing each row in the CSV file. Okay, so when you use write row, or even when you will be using write rows, you will see after each writing each row, one line will be automatically left blank. Okay, तो ये होता है राइट रो का प्रॉपर्टी होता है. Okay, I'll come back to this point again, but before that let us see how you can write multiple lines or multiple rows using in the same line, in the same one single statement. So creating multiple rows as list of lists to write to CSV file. Okay, so let's say I do that. Rows is equals to first one. I'll put something like this. I'll make it, let's say 103. I'll make it random. Afzal. Okay, let's make it 8, 13. Okay, let's make it about 4. You can change to Ram. Okay, so here what you can see, I have written to, चलो एक और ऐड कर देते हैं. 103, 104, and plus 11, 17. Okay, and then I'll writing multiple records in one go using write rows in CSV file. So I can write CSV writer dot write rows and execute it. If you see it here, you will see that first 3 were written by first write row was wrote this line, second write row wrote this record, third write row wrote this record, and then these 3 were written because of multiple writing in using write rows. Okay, so and as we know that whenever you write a single record or more than one record at the same time, write row and write rows both insert one blank line after each of after writing each record or row. Is it clear? ये देखो और एक बार बताओ मुझे. Is it clear or not? बताओ।
Clear, sir.
क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
ओके ग्रेट, ठीक है। सो यस, सारे लोग समझ गए हैं?
Yes, sir.
ओके राइट, अंकित हैज नॉट जॉइन टुडे। Okay, fine. So this is, with this we complete our discussion with writing to CSV files. देखो अब कभी कभी क्या हो सकता है ना, they can ask you to create, in exams generally the same thing they will expect you to write in the form of functions. तो उसमें कुछ करना नहीं है, you don't have to do anything special. uh, just put the entire code inside a function definition and that's it. uh, let's say creating a function, creating functions which read and which read, write rows, or read write one single row every time a row of CSV file, of a CSV file every time you call them. ठीक है, तो कुछ ऐसा कर सकते हो, डेफ है ना, मान लो रिकॉर्ड रीड करने वाला कोई तो प्रोग्राम बनाया होगा, लेट अस चेक। ओके चलो फिर से लिख देते हैं, or I'll create two separate files which reads function which reads the entire CSV file when called or invoked. So you can write def read CSV, give any logical name, okay, and then in that piece of in that function only, inside in the block, write everything, all. Let's say this is a file. No, wait, ये मान लो पूरा है फाइल तुम्हारा। Okay, import should not be done in the function. Remember, import कभी function में नहीं करना चाहिए. Okay, import statement only. All the import should be out, and rest everything I have put inside the function only. So whenever this function is called, ठीक है, जब भी ये function को बुलाया जाएगा, when you invoke this function, how do you do it? You know that merely by defining a function, it does not get called or activated. You have to call it from the global scope. So I'll just define a function and I'll call the function. Okay. देखोगे. So the what in exam it will even if for finding output or whenever you will have to write the program, ठीक है, always make a habit to define it inside the function, and to execute it you call it later in the main or the global scope. ठीक है. Even for writing rows here,
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, in the previous program, CSV reader is a list of lists, sir. The variable CSV reader
Is a list of
lists of
yeah.
strings.
देखो you actually it's देखो उसमें रीड रो करोगे तब आएगा तुम्हारा उसमें एवरी टाइम इट इज सॉर्ट ऑफ लिस्ट यस यू कैन टेल
Yes,
ठीक है
sir.
दो इट इज एन इटरेबल ऑब्जेक्ट दो इट इज एन इटरेबल ऑब्जेक्ट बट यस यू कैन से दैट इट इज लिस्ट ऑफ लिस्ट्स ओके
Okay, sir.
ओके but you cannot display it in the form of list of lists देखो it will give you some address I think देख रहे हो only by using next or using inside the loop in the form of iterable you can find each of the elements inside it okay but it cannot be readily displayed in the form of list of lists because it is an iterable object only
Okay,
next
sir.
will get you all the elements of that list or
Okay.
inside a loop okay writing a single row to a CSV file. Let's say if this question comes, again you will do it through functions. Def write. Don't give the name write row. वो conflict करेगा उसके साथ method के साथ. Okay. And then you can use the same program जो हमने भी बनाया था. Let's make this as test one. And then we'll close the file. Now, if you have to write one row to the file, what you will do? Every time you will call that function. Let's say you'll call it write row run. तो क्या हुआ होगा test one बना होगा okay now tell me one thing here if I keep executing this file will I get multiple lines like this or only this line will keep coming
Only one line, sir.
why
It'll get overwritten because it's in
because
read
every
mode.
time because again if you call write CSV again this piece of code will be executed that means again the file will be opened in the write mode ठीक है और जैसे ही you will open the file again in the write mode everything will be erased and will be written from scratch again so every time this will be written again and again in order to keep the previous records what you should do
Open in append mode.
yeah उसको append mode में open करो and then if you have called it 2 times let's say कहाँ गया test 1 it appeared why it appeared 3 times here
Because once it was already written by the previous program.
yes previous execution and twice now you have
It was
again written
appended.
again if you write again if you execute it one more time what will be the total number of entries
5.
5 देख रहे हो 1 2 3 4 5 okay is it clear now पहले ये बताओ ये समझ में आया कि how to write it in the function and how to call the function again and again to add up multiple lines using append
Yes, sir.
everyone सबको बताइए भरत
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
okay Pooja you are there
Yes, sir.
समझ में आ रहा है? Getting it?
Understood.
Okay, good. ठीक है, तो you can use append similarly. अच्छा, now we'll come to one thing and we'll correct it here. कि you were seeing that when we were writing this program, though we didn't want, you were seeing one blank line appearing up every time you write a row or multiple rows. Okay, how to avoid it? उसको कैसे रोकना है? देखो, write the program as it is and then simply go to the place where you are opening file and just write new line is equals to nothing, blank, empty string, and then execute the file. When you do it, you will see that जो additional lines आ रहे थे, now they are no more. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, तो पहले नॉर्मल प्रोग्राम लिख लो and in order to remove all the lines which came up automatically after every writing operation, you simply add new line is equals to empty string in the line where you opened the file. ठीक है, in the same way in this program also, wherever you are writing, this problem only occurs when you are writing to a CSV file. Okay, so यहाँ भी append वाले में भी you can go and you can write new line is equals to nothing. But here what you will see is this much entry till line number 9 it will be as it is. उसके बाद से line नहीं ये होगा, skip होगा. ठीक है, can you see it? Why? Because all this data was written in the previous rounds of execution. Okay, because it is in append mode, so it did not disturb that. But now on, whatever you will be writing, that will keep coming up. ठीक है, without any line. ये clear है? Okay. Right. अच्छा, एक चीज और बताओ मुझे. Is this program useful? Let's say I'll delete this file. Test 1 को मैं अभी delete कर देता हूँ. Is this program useful which we have written here?
No, sir.
Why?
Because the file does not exist.
File नहीं, मान लो कि delete नहीं किया होता. Let's say if I had not deleted that file. Will this program be of any use?
Yes, sir.
Why? अरे इसका जो the output file that you will be getting, okay, test1.csv, उसमें उसका क्या use होगा? What use will it serve? Purpose will it serve? Again, every time you are writing the same thing, ID, name, class, age, city, ID, name, class.
No, sir,
Okay.
it's not useful.
ना, तो
We can
सब
make it useful though.
हाँ, how?
Adding more data while appending.
Adding more, मतलब you should not always take static value. So how you can do that? So that every time you get different value, different row, every time you call this function. Tell me. I'll take 4 variables and I'll ask from the user what values to enter in each row. ID is equals to int input please enter the ID of the student. Name. Please enter the name of the student. ठीक है? Then class. Class नहीं लेना because class is also a keyword for defining this. Let's say I'll take standard. Class is a keyword, so let's not take class. Class लो या grade ले लो. That should serve. Okay. Finally, city. This should also be int. Okay, and here give the variable names. ID, name, under, age. Now this program has become more generic. Why? Because you can element
add data.
हाँ built-in element ये भी built-in है. चलो ID की जगह ID student कर देते हैं. Right. ठीक है. Now what will happen is every time you call a function, it will add a different type of row. ठीक है? तो if it will add a different type of row. तो अगर अब मान लो कि here once you will run the program. Okay, let's make it in. पहले फाइल डिलीट कर देता हूं मैं. Existing. No. Now it is asking me कि please enter the ID of the student 100. Okay. Name of the student Asit. Class 11. Let's say 16. City Chennai. Right, and the moment you will go, now you will see test one has been created, the first entry. Okay, इसी तरह उसको again and again you will be calling. It will ask you to enter the values of each of the places separated by comma, and so that in this way you will be able to create CSV file of your own choice. ठीक है? So just the same thing we have seen. What I wanted to suggest here is in exams, when you will be doing something, they will give you generally in the form of functions. So the code will be same. It's just that they will be put inside the body of the code, and one line of execution or invocation of the function will be done in the global scope, and then the same piece of code for reading or writing from the CSV file will be written. Okay. Now tell me, writing to CSV file, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
चलो बहुत बढ़िया. नानिका समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. So this was about writing to CSV file. Now coming to a part where, okay, I chose the naming convention wrong here. Just let me correct it. Okay. Fine. Now let's come to one simple case of file handling, which will be applicable in all type of files, CSV file or normal text file, where you don't need you'll not need to close the file explicitly. Okay. Let me see, where is it? File handling, yeah. In one of the files here I might have taken text. Just give me a moment. With कहीं तो था. Okay. Anyways, we'll start it. We'll start from scratch. उसी को फिर से बताता हूँ. I'm not sure. I'm not getting that file. So let's say we'll talk in context of normal files. Okay. इसको हम लोग text file में ही बनाते हैं. Yours was, last was this 15. Okay. So we'll create one 16th. Use of with. ठीक है. तो generally just forget this first line comment. How do you read a file? मान लो कि तुम्हें कोई file read करना है. Let's say a file is there story.txt. So I'll just recap it in a minute and then we'll come back to what is with and why we are discussing it. Let's say you have a file from where you want to read the content. Okay. The name is story.txt and you have to read from it. So you will open it in read mode. This is a normal file, normal text file. So we'll directly read from it. In order to read the entire content of the file, we should capture the data or the entire data of the file from the file F using the method. कौन सा method use करेंगे? In order to read the entire content in one go.
Read method.
Great. Other similar methods are
Read line and read lines.
read line and read lines. Okay. And you generally print data and so it displays it on your screen. Okay. So ये तुम्हारा file था जिसका the file उस data was brought into this variable and then you displayed it on your screen or terminal. Okay. Now here see you have to close every file you open. There is another way of doing the same thing using with. उसमें क्या करते हैं? We'll write with After writing with, write the file opening statement with story.txt opened in write mode, and we calling that file opened as f, and then block statement start. Then this statement won't be needed anymore. Everything will go inside the block, and this statement won't be needed because you have already done it here. Okay, so you can remove this, and then keep everything as it is, and closing of the file will not be required. Okay, so what happens is when you execute this, you will still see all the content coming up. So what is the advantage of using with? Okay, see, there are certain advantages. Let's say I write a normal file. ठीक है, मान लो कि पहले तुम ये फाइल को नॉर्मली लिखते हैं ऐसे, और just give me a minute. Let's say I'll comment it out. I'll write like I'll make this a non-usable string, multi-line string, so that it has no effect on my file program. मान लो ये फाइल ऐसे ही होता तुम्हारा, f is equals to this. Okay, then data, then okay, let's say you were using the straightforward way of opening the file, reading from the file, and then closing the file. We feel very safe. Okay, we have done everything fine. Okay, but there can still be problem in this approach. What can be the problem? The problem can be, let's say if I forget to I forget there is a typo and I forget this T of print. Tell me what will happen. In which line will the program crash? Which line will the program crash? Yeah, it's pretty simple.
10th line, sir.
10th line, yeah.
10th line.
10th line, the program will crash, and up to line number 9, there will be no problem. Now, can you tell me what will be the problem?
Syntax error.
Syntax error aayega, that is fine. This line did not get executed, that is fine. But there is an additional problem. Can you tell me what?
The file won't close.
The file wasn't closed. Very good. Okay. So even after still opening the file successfully and then writing the close statement, there are possibilities that due to some error in the part between those opening and closing statements, the program may crash and the file which was successfully opened may not get a chance to get closed. Right. So that is again a problem with open and close straightforward approach. Okay, so that is again a problem with open and close straightforward approach. So therefore, I'll write here. Now I'll make it unusable piece of code by creating it into a multi-line string which will not be using. Above piece of code, we see that even if file is opened, it is not guaranteed that the file will be closed successfully. It may happen due to an error in the where error in the part between the file opening and closing statements. Therefore, using with statement is the recommended approach. With helps in many ways. ठीक है, help with helps in many ways. कौन से ways हैं? First, it closes the file even if you don't close it explicitly. Explicitly means by writing. You can write on close also, but even if you forget, it will do it for you. It closes even if you don't close it explicitly. Second is explicitly. The spelling I think is wrong. I'm not sure. चलो देख लेना. It closes the file. हाँ. Second is it closes the file even if there is an error in the file after successful opening of the file. Successful opening of the file. ठीक है? Therefore, we can say this. Okay. With is a clean approach. ये कहीं लिख लेना जो मैं लिख रहा हूँ. Clean approach or take a screenshot. Clean approach to maintain and handle your files. Okay. Right. So now what I'll do is I'll uncomment it. Okay. So now what I said was even if after successful opening of this file in the with statement and whatever you are processing and doing with the file and handling the file, whatever way you are handling the file, that is which is specified in the block of with. Okay, even if something goes wrong there, then also the file which was opened in the with statement, okay, in the header of the with statement will be closed automatically. So we open the file in the with header of the with statement and we do the processing with the file in the block of the with statement. ठीक है, चलो ये लिख देता हूं मैं. We open the file in the with statement and do the processing in the we open the file in the header of the with the statement and do the processing in the body or block. ठीक है, देखो ये block जो है ना इसको हम I have also mentioned maybe somewhere. ठीक है, it's also called a suite. ठीक है, of the with statement. तो अगर कुछ जो तुम्हारा फाइल ओपनिंग के बाद भी लेट्स से इवन इफ यू फॉरगेट दिस की, ठीक है, द प्रोग्राम विल क्रैश हियर बट एंड द प्रोग्राम विल terminate but not before closing the file which was open in the with statement. So here, ठीक है, we also know therefore we can write, यहाँ पे तो लिखा ही है ना, ये explicitly with को close करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है. We don't need to close the file open with explicitly. ठीक है, यहाँ पे you can even write, there is no problem, you can even write f dot close, ठीक है, and the program will work absolutely fine. But even if you forget this, with will do it for you. ठीक है, so I'll write here f dot close, को I'll comment it, is an optional statement. Statement with ठीक है. Yeah, I'll stop it right now. अबे ठीक है, मुझे और आज के लिए कुछ नहीं बताना. We are done. ठीक है. So now tell me, whatever we have covered so far, that means writing to CSV files wherein you will either write it in one record each time, or you will write multiple records using list of list approach, using write rows method or write row for single entry, and using with and making everything of the file handling part inside the with body of the with other than the file opening part which is done in the with header. ठीक है, ये सारा कंसेप्ट एंड व्हाई वी शुड यूज विथ, ठीक है, बिकॉज इट विल हेल्प यू राइट कोड्स क्लीनली. एरर के केस में इट विल क्लोज इट, इवन इफ यू फॉरगेट एफ डॉट क्लोज इट विल क्लोज इट. सो ये सारा कंसेप्ट व्हाट एवर वी डिड, इज इट क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, सो नथिंग मच फॉर टुडे. अब हो गया आज का. I'll stop it here, but 1 minute.